Hey guys, and I want to welcome each and every one of you back to a new video. In this one, we're going to be talking about my personal top 10 cards in Descent of Dragons. So, Descent of Dragons is the third expansion of 2019, and it may be one of the most powerful sets in Hearthstone history. Like, the cards in this list are crazy. So, I want to explain why I'm making this video. So, you might have known, I've obviously not posted on YouTube in quite a while. I tried to keep up with the reviews for Rastakhan's Rumble. I tried to do almost daily reviews, and it was just a nightmare to keep on top of, I'm being honest. So, it was so difficult for me as a person. I was up to other things at the time, and as a small, you could say content creator, I guess, keeping on top of that was quite difficult. And of course, if I play Wild, reviewing those cards in terms of Wild was really difficult as well, because the power level of that set was quite low, and power levels of sets overall are really low. So, doing daily reviews is really difficult, because the reality of these sets is 90% of the cards are probably not going to see play. So doing reviews for those cards was difficult, but that kind of explains why I'm doing it this way. So all the reviews are done, all the reveals are done, and now I've sat back and I've looked at all of the cards and I've gone, these are crazy, these are crazy, and I've put together a top 10. So that's what this video is today. So before we do get into the reviews and my personal top 10, I want to explain kind of how I've gone about analysing these specific cards. So the main thing to think about when you're reviewing these cards is, in fact, how powerful are they in an already existing archetype? Are they powerful enough just to fit in, or are they powerful enough to replace a card already? When you think about powerful archetypes in this current meta, obviously the meta's kind of shifted around now because of the Echo nerfs and Snip Snap and stuff. The sort of the top of the tiers is like Secret Mage, Aggro Mech Paladin. Will the cards in Descent of Dragons be good enough to fit straight into those already existing decks? Another thing to think about is, are these cards going to be powerful enough to revive old strategies? That's another thing to think about. And most importantly, Hearthstone and Wild all comes down to tempo and mana cheating and twisting the rules of the game. Wild has so many cards. I think Standard has, it's 100 cards, just over 100 cards in each set, plus the classic set. So that's it's about 600 cards, I think. In Wild, we have, almost 4 times the amount of that, maybe 5 times. We have so many cards. So in Wild, the power level of the decks is ridiculously powerful compared to Standard. So you're putting these cards in your deck to serve a purpose. You're playing the best card that you can on that mana cost, in this strategy. And you know what I'm saying? So cards need to be good to be played in Wild. So the reason they're good is, can they generate cards? Can they draw cards from your deck? Not just draw, but can they fetch specific cards from your deck? The cards that you want, you put them into your hand. Can they summon cards? For example, a pirate. You play a pirate and Patches comes out. That's a great turn 1 play. It's all about tempo and all. I've said enough. So that's how we're going to review these cards. We're going to think about those as we go. I've got a top 10. Obviously, it's my personal stuff, but feel free to let me know in the comments your personal top 10s, and if you agree or disagree with any of my comments as well. What we are going to do right now, though, is start with, I always get this word wrong. I always say audible mentions, but it is, in fact, let's start with the honourable mentions. I got it right this time. Here we go. So my first honourable mention is, in fact, Azure Explorer. Azure Explorer is a 4-mana 2/3 dragon, a little bit understated firstly with that, but it does read, in fact, spell damage +2 and battle cry, discover a dragon. So, of course, it's a little bit understated, but the card text is, I think, is what really carries this card. So, spell damage +2 is very powerful. You can put that in a tempo Cyclone / Flame Waker Mage. You can shoot the Star Sync for 3, and the 3 goes across as well, even with Arcane Missiles. Frostbolt Ice Lance, and yeah, I just think it's a great card. Of course, in a if you're running a few dragons in your deck as well, such as the new Malagos, it discovers a dragon and puts a dragon back in your hand. It kind of replaces itself, which I think is really cool. I do know that, in fact, I did build a deck. You can put this in a Freeze Mage, and if you actually use Emperor Thorson and the new Dragon Caster, which I will put up on screen as well, you can, if you Emperor tick both of those, you can Shadowcaster, play it, Pyroblast. You play Dragoncaster and then Azure Explorer. You Pyroblast 12 in the face, and then Frostbolt, Ice Lance, which I believe is 34 damage, 32 or 34 damage, which is a OTK, and we like those. So Freeze Mage with these cards definitely could work. So keep an eye on that. I think it's a great card. Second card is in my second honourable mention. Sorry, is in fact Righteous Cause. It's a side quest. So side quests are very similar to quests. They need you to complete something to get the reward. Side quests are different to quests in the fact that side quests do not start in your opening hand. Well, they do maybe if you draw it, but they never start, you know, consistently in your open hand like quests do. So there's that to think about. But this quest in particular says, side quest, summon 5 minions, and so when you do summon 5 minions, you get the reward. Give your minions +1/+1. So this is, of course, a fantastic board buff. Running it in like an odd paladin, which is why I want to talk about this deck, is fantastic. You play this on 1, if you get it. Turn 2, you hit your hero power for 2 minions. Turn 3, muster for battle. Boom, completed your quest, +1/+1 to 5 minions. I do think somewhere in odd paladin this would be crazy. Maybe aggro paladin as well, with like call to arms and stuff, might be good enough. Of course, I don't want to talk about this too much because I don't want to go into too much depth. Just an honorable mention, but mech paladin maybe could fit this as well with a new mech that is in my top 10 list. Stick around for that one. Okay, so my third honorable mention, almost honourable mention, there you go, said it wrong already, is Cumulo Maximus, a 5-mana 5/5 battle cry. If you're overloaded, deal 5 damage. So, of course, a crazy card on legs. Kind of reminds me of the Mage 5-mana, the 5-drop with kind of like the Fireball on legs. This is kind of like a Lava Burst on legs, you could say. Really crazy, going to be great in the Battle Cry, Quest Shaman, as well as a sort of burn tempo Shaman as well, alongside sort of like Spirit of the Frog, Lava, Spirit of the Frog, Crackle, Lava Burst decks as well. So definitely one you want to be looking out for, and it's obviously great on curve, great in a deck with something like Thunderhead as well. So really cool, and yeah, boom. Just while we're talking about Shaman as well, I think it's a very good idea to talk about Storm's Wraith, which is a 1-mana, give your minions +1/+1 with Overload 1. So, of course, it's going to be really crazy in a tempo deck, like I've just mentioned. It'll be interesting to know how this works with Thunderhead. Believe Thunderhead does, in fact, say, I've got it up now, it says after you play a card. So it'll be interesting to know how this works. I think it's going to give Thunderhead +1, and then it will summon the 1/1s because it says after. But I know that Power of the Wild does in fact work with Violet Teacher, so this might work with Violet Teacher if that is a, you know, something we could do. Probably not. Violet Teacher's pretty crap, but I do think in an aggro deck it's going to be really good, especially when it can be replaced. It can be put into your 1-drop slot in Spirit of the Frog package, because you kind of run Lava Bolt, Lightning Bolt, and then a really weird 1-drop, usually like the Totem Smash, which feels weak. So this is great. I think really good card as well. Great in Bloodlust decks. Boom, I really like it. And my final honourable mention before we get into the top 10 is Cobalt Spellkin. It's a 5-mana 3/5 dragon, and Battlecry, you add 2 1-cost spells from your class to your hand. I think it's going to be really powerful in decks like Shaman. It's going to be really good in decks like Priest, Mage, and even Druid. Like, you know, a Yogg Druid has been powerful in the past, could be good again. I think in Tempo Cyclone Mage, Spellkins could be powerful in that, especially it's a dragon, so it could be good. Like, you could get the new Malakos in there as well, which is not in my list actually, but because I think it's kind of weak in Wild. But stuff like that. Spellkin, it's going to be really good. Adding 2 1-cost spells to your hand in Mage is going to be really good, so usually they're all great. Shaman's got some really good 1-drops, and Wild Druid's got some really good ones. Rogue's got some good ones as well, especially if you're playing like a Miracle deck. So loads of stuff going on there. I think Spellkin's definitely one to keep an eye on. So here we go. Let's get into the top 10. This is exciting. So in 10th place we do have Faceless Corruptor. Sorry, totally forgot. 5-mana 5/4 rush with Battlecry. Transform one of your minions into a copy of this. Now, firstly, fantastic card in terms of a aggro/tempo tool. Having one of your minions trade away, so it's maybe left on 1 health. You can then transform it into a 5/4 rush and go not face, but you can trade again. Really cool card. Does fit in stuff like Shame and probably evolved stuff. You know, having, you know, let's say a small minion go in, get a kill, then you faceless, and go trade something, and then evolve in that board. It seems really powerful. But where I do think this deck does in fact shine is Shudderwock Shaman. So we used to have an old card called a 4-mana 2/3 taunt called a Serenite Chain Gang, which is a fantastic tool for Shadowwalk. Firstly, just having Shadowwalk replicate himself once was just enough. Doppelgang's just what we use now, but it just feels really weak, like on curve. It just never feels great. It's always a card that you do later on when you've got the board, but having a 5-mana, you know, having this Faceless Corruptor on a very consistent 5-drop is going to be a fantastic tool for Shadowwalk. Why this is going to be good for Shadowwalk is having this in the Battlecry pool. When Shadowwalk goes off, he's going to at some point make a copy of himself, which will then work with Grumble, and then he can bounce that back to his hand. Obviously going to be really good as well when you've got if you've got the Shaman Quest up, or even like Bran on board as well. So Faceless Corruptor are going to be a fantastic card in tempo and decks like Shadowwalk as well. So yeah, let me know what you think. Now the next card makes 9th. It's actually a really difficult one to sort of review. The card is in fact Fate Weaver, a 4-mana 3/6 dragon. Battlecry, if you've invoked twice, reduce the cost of your cards in your hand by 1. I've been sort of building decks around this card for since it's been revealed. I think the power of this card is crazy in terms of what the text does. Having maybe like Velen be reduced maybe by 1 or 2, depending if you've got Bran as well, and Emperor in your deck as well. You can do like really cool OTKs with Mind Blast and Velen and not Malagos, but if you go Velagos and like you make a copy of it with 1 health, can't remember what that card's called. You can do like Mind Blast for a lot of damage. So, but small print now, this is why it's so lower down my list, is the Invoke. The Invoke cards are weak, man. And you have to run Galcron in your deck for these cards to be okay. Like there's a few Invoke stuff, like there's the 1-drop, there's Time Rip, but the neutral Invoke cards are weak, and it feels really weird. And I don't think the Invoke stuff and Galcron is going to really work in Wild, because like I said to you at the start of the video, you need powerful cards in your deck and you need tempo, but the Invoke cards are weak. So it's a really weird one, because Fate Weaver, the power of Fate Weaver is going to be crazy, but you have to make sacrifices in your list to make it work. But Fate Weaver, OTK, Mind Blast Priest, I'm all about that. So I will be trying it, but yeah, definitely keep an eye on that one. Now, here we go. This is one I am excited about. It makes 8th place. Starting to think maybe I should have put it higher, but it's too late to go back. It is, in fact, Skyclaw. A 3-mana 1/2 mech, understated, but your other mechs have +1 attack, and Battlecry you summon 2 1/1 microcopters, which are, in fact, mechs. Mech Aggro Paladin has been a thing in Wild for a long time now. But, you know, for example, you play Christology on 1, you play something like a Neutron on 2, or maybe even, you know, the +1/+1 in your hand, and then you play this. You know, this is such a great, it's an onboard buff with a great Battlecry as well. Mechs is it's just fantastic. Having this in a deck with like the Wind Fury Copter as well is crazy. I think this card's incredible, and I think it actually is a good enough reason to put Annoy modules back into your deck to taunt the 1/1s and protect your Skyclaw, because the Skyclaw is just an ongoing threat that it will be a big focus for your opponent to deal with. So Aggro Mech Paladin, I think, just got a little bit better with Skyclaw. Having those 1/1s as well on board is going to be good. And alongside the Righteous Cause as well, with the the +1/+1 when you summon 5 minions, side quest is probably going to be really good with this as well, because you summon 3 off 1 card here. Skyclaw, definitely a good card. Keep an eye on that one. The next one is a Pirate. I do love Pirates, and this is a 2-mana 2/2 Parachute B. Don't know how you say the last name. Probably Brigand. But it says, after you play a Pirate, summon this from your hand. This card is crazy good, man. This is one I'm very excited about. Of course, it fits perfectly into aggro Pirate Warrior, alongside the Pirates that are in that deck already. This is so good with Ship's Cannon. Oh my god, it's so exciting, this card. It's really good. Could be a good enough reason, mistake me if I'm wrong, to run a small pirate package in other aggro decks, such as like Aggro Druid with with board buffs. Yeah, I think it's a really good card. It's going to fit in Aggro Rogue as well. Obviously not Odd Rogue, but it will fit in Aggro Rogue along with the Ship's Cannon. And of course, we now have Ship's Cannon 2.0. The card is, what's the card called? Sky Barge, which I think it's basically the same. It's a 3-mana 2/5 mech, I think. But when you summon a pirate, it does 2 to a random enemy, just like Ship's Cannon does. So there's going to be huge burst potential in Pirate Warrior now, and I think I'm really excited to try that. So Parachute, Mr. 2/2 for 0. I like you. I like you a lot. Okay, now here's one I am super excited about. It is, in fact, Chen Vala, a 3-mana 2/5 elemental that says, after you cast 3 spells in a turn, summon a 5/5 elemental. Of course, everyone knows it. It's Dragon Soul on legs, but this one is in a class that needs this. You know, what I find with a Cyclone Quest Mage is you're kind of waiting to hit sort of like an 8-mana slot, so you can go Flame Wake Sorcerers, and then, or whatever, Flame Wake Sorcerers, and then you go off and you go spell, and you're just waiting for that moment to happen. You're drawing cards, and you're just basically getting beaten up while you waiting for your mana to come around. What I like with Chen Vala is it's an early drop with a huge effect. You know, you can play this on like 4 maybe. Maybe even 3 mana, maybe 4, because you can Ray of Frost things, and you can freeze and potion stuff, and you know, you can play this earlier on in the game, which is when you need it. You know, you can do it early, and you can get those 5/5s and crit a board, but also it's fantastic in when you've gone into your second turn, or you do this. You can kind of play this on with, like, you know, you go Vargoth and then Time Warp, new turn. And then you've obviously got another turn waiting for you after. So you go into your turn 2 and you play Chen Vala, and you go spell for your board up with 5/5s. You could play the Arcane Giant, play the new Giant, which is on my list as well. You can just fill your board with threats, flip into your new turn, and smash that in the face. It's so exciting. Chen Vala is really cool and a very exciting card. So here's one I'm quite excited about. Not super excited about. A lot of people are hyping about this, but I think for Wild, I can't say it's amazing, but I can say it's very good. So it's Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. 9 mana 8/8 dragon, of course, but this one says Battle Cry. If your deck has no duplicates, add 2 random dragons to your hand. They cost 0. Why this card is so good in Wild is we have Bran. Having lots of dragons in your hand for 0 is never a bad thing. So, of course, Dragon Queen fits into the no duplicates decks. Highlanders, there's loads of those in Wild at the moment. We've got Shaman that's running the Highlander stuff with Shudderwock. We've got Warrior. We've got Mage, of course, Warlock, Priest. We've got lots, and even Hunter now. So we've got loads of that going on. So Dragon Queen's going to fit perfectly into that. Do you think she's going to be the core of what you're going to call sort of the Dragon Highlander stuff? Whether you build around her with like the new Frizz Kindle Root and stuff like that. I think Dragon Queen Alex is great. And in fact that... obviously, Wild has lots of dragons in there as well. 0 mana is good, so I like it, and I think it's going to be fairly good in those sort of Highlander decks. So my next card, I thought I found it, but I haven't. I'm still scrolling. Is in fact got it now. Here we go. Is the 8 mana giant, 8/8. I did all that in the wrong order, but we're going to carry on. It says, cost 1 less for each card you've played this game that didn't start in your deck. Now, this one is super exciting. So, obviously, I've talked about it already, but Mana Cyclone, is that what it's called, Mana Cyclone? You know, Cyclone Flame Waker deck for Mage is all about killing somebody when you get your new turn. So you're going to complete the Time Warp, you're going to play Time Warp with Vargoth, go into your new turn, you play 0 mana 8/8, you've now got Mana Giants and Arcane Giants. The problem with that deck was, when you go into your new turn and you play 0 mana 8/8, just the 2 of them, and you just couldn't kill them. You've done all this effort playing Flame Wakers and doing loads of burst damage. If you're against Druids, they've got so much armor gain, and Warrior, then you just couldn't kill them. It was the most frustrating thing in the world. But now we've got 4 0 mana 8/8s. And that's just completely doubled the damage. And I think it's super exciting. And I think Mana Giant could fit into lots of other decks as well. Maybe even like burn stuff as well. Obviously, it's all about what didn't start in your deck. So Cyclone Mage is where it really truly belongs, I believe. So Mana Giant is great. It's such a good card. So yeah, oh my god. And our top 3 in 3rd place belongs to Anchor, a 3 mana 2/3 weapon. It's just a pirate warrior weapon. It says after your hero attacks, you draw a pirate from your deck. This is so good. Obviously, a lot of people have discussed it's too slow for aggro warrior, but I completely disagree. I think this card's incredible. Having this and attacking, and then you're refilling your hand all the time. It's a consistent card draw. You're drawing 3 minimum with this, which is incredible. When you've got cards like Dread Corsair and Greenskin and Bloodsail Cultist, I think it's called, where if you control a pirate, you get a +1/+1 on your weapon. You just got a consistent not infinite, but a really powerful resource, a resource thing, and it's just amazing. So yeah, really good card. Obviously, when you buff it enough, it's just an aggro tool anyway. You're just going to keep smashing face and keep getting pirates into your hand. So I really like it. And alongside the new pirate stuff like Sky Barge as well, and the new 0 mana 2/2, it's just going to be incredible. So Anchor, I really like it. I'm definitely going to be trying that one on day one. So keep an eye on that one. So second place is a card that's just grown in, just so many people are hyped about it in standard and in wild. That card is Necrium Apothecary. So it is in fact a 4 mana 2/5 combo. Draw a death rattle from your deck and gain its death rattle. This does so much in one card. One, does that thing that I said at the very start of the video. It draws a card from your deck. Not just draws, it grabs the card that you want from your deck. And obviously the ability is the card gains its death rattle. So when thinking about this in terms of a deck, it's going to grab cards like Kobold Illusionist, Mechanical Whelp, Sylvanas, even stuff like Sneasel Shredder, all these crazy death rattle cards. It's going to grab them from your deck. And yeah, and it's going to gain a death rattle as well. Kobold Illusionist is actually a fantastic example of this. So it's going to grab it and gain the death rattle of whenever this minion dies, summon a 1/1 minion from your hand. So, you know, having that, and then having Necrium Blade as well, when that death rattle on that weapon goes off, you're going to start this cycle of just craziness. So yeah, Apothecary is really cool. Definitely, I know Dane has a big rogue. Shout out to Dane, he does great videos and he's a great streamer. Yeah, he's been playing a big rogue on the ladder for a long time, but he was hyped to hell about this card, and I completely understand it. So having almost like, it's a mana cheat, and it starts the combo earlier than it should have. It's just so good. So shout out to that deck, and shout out to this guy, Necrium Apothecary. Powerful card. And last but not least, in first place for me is Valdris Felgorge. 7 mana, 4/4, Battle Cry. Increase your hand size to 12. And then you draw 4. This is so good. Like, anything like... any combo locks are just going to be absolutely buzzing off this card. Mechathune, most importantly, just increasing your hand size to 12 and drawing 4. The worst thing about playing these combo warlocks is when your hand's full and you just can't life tap anymore, because you're going to worry about overdrawing your combo pieces and completely throwing your game. So having that hand size increase to 12 and drawing 4 is incredible. Mechathune's warlock's going to love this. Also, a sort of meme deck, but I do think has potential in the new set, is Malagos Warlock. Obviously with the new Nether Breath, which is crazy as well. All those, any combo lock's going to love this. It just completely changes the how the game has been played for all these years. Having a hand size of 12 is going to feel so cool, especially in anything like Q block as well. Any mid-range stuff is going to love this. It's a pretty good card on curve. 7 mana, 4/4, weak stats, but you're drawing 4 as well. Obviously, it's same mana cost as like Sprint, which is what you draw 4 with. It does so much. It draws and it just does so much. It's ridiculous. So Valdris Felgorge holds my #1 slot. And that summarises my top 10 for Descent of Dragons. It's a crazy set. There's so much going on in this set, and it's so exciting for a while, because I feel like this time the development team have gone, let's create some really crazy stuff for the wild players. I don't know whether that's true, but there's a lot of stuff here with crazy synergies that are already in wild. So yeah, that does in fact end my top 10. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing time, guys, with the new set. I really hope you enjoy it. I will be streaming over on twitch.tv/ReeseGamingX. Top link in the description will take you over to that. I'll be streaming all night on that night, playing Descent of Dragons, playing some crazy wild decks. So yeah, please go check me out. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Enjoy the set, and let the dragons descend upon you. There's an outro and a half.